Hello friends, Jonah here, and I will start the presentation right now. So, you want to learn Boogie Woogie Piano in 2024, but you don't want to waste years of your life only to reach an amateur level? Well, this is for you if you want to play on any piano that you see, like in a train station, for example. You want to improvise boogie freely and play your favorite boogie songs. You want to impress everyone with your skills and gain admiration from that. You want to entertain your family, like your wife, your kids, or even your guests. And you want to feel that youthful flow, the energy and the happiness of boogie every day. And of course, you want to develop that passion that you have. But you don't want to waste years figuring out what to do, figuring out how to do it correctly, learning the wrong technique, learning boring theory, which you don't even need for boogie, feeling unsatisfied with your progress, stressing out from all the information, forcing yourself through an unenjoyable process, feeling unmotivated through failing, ultimately wasting years of your short life just to reach a mediocre level, leading to a potential life of regret. Okay, and if you're thinking that would be cool, then I understand, I truly do, because it's awesome to be able to play Boogie Woogie Piano. And the passion, the skill, the confidence, the energy, the excitement, the happiness, even the attraction, the jealousy and admiration that you get from others, these are all as awesome as they sound. Like the ability to make any public piano your stage and have people literally stop to watch you gives extreme confidence because it's a rare ability and everyone loves that. And whether you have never seen a piano before or if you have maybe played in the past, you can learn Boogie Woogie Piano that sounds really, really impressive. And I'm going to show you exactly how in this video training, because it's not your age, your experience, or your talent that's holding you back from quickly learning pro level boogie. All right, and tell me if you've ever had any of these following beliefs about yourself while thinking about learning boogie in the past. My fingers are too slow. I have no musicality. I have no talent. I'm too old. I don't have the time to practice. I can't read sheet music. I have no natural sense of rhythm. I'm not creative enough to improvise. I wasn't musically gifted as a child. I'll be embarrassed if I make mistakes. I have arthritis and it's going to hurt to play. Guys, none of those things are stopping you. And I'm going to prove this to you in this presentation. All right, because it's always been the three factors that hinder every boogie beginner that if you overcome, allow you to easily and quickly learn Boogie Woogie Piano and acquire that complete freedom on the piano to impress others with. And again, these three factors, they have nothing to do with your age, your experience, your talent, or any of the other beliefs that we just covered. Because every single one of my students, once they had a solution to these three factors, they almost magically started turning into boogie woogie pros in the shortest time and just started rocking out on every piano that they saw. They became addicted to that. Right? And I'm going to cover what exactly these three factors to learn boogie woogie are in this presentation. I'm also going to show you how I have struggled with them myself, how I overcame them, and how I helped so many of my students conquer the same three factors to learn truly amazing sounding boogie quickly. And at the end, you'll also get the opportunity to see how I might be able to help you with your journey to turn you into a Boogie Woogie Pro. All right, maybe we're a good fit, maybe not. But either way, make sure that you put this video into full screen, get a pen and paper and pay full attention. This way you can learn a lot today and invest your time with clarity. And also make sure you watch until the end, because if you do, you're going to get a present that you will not want to miss to help you learning Boogie Woogie. All right? But first, let me introduce myself. So my name is Jonah Schwickert. If you don't know me, maybe you know me from YouTube or Instagram, but I'm a German concert pianist who grew up in New York, and I love Boogie Woogie, if you haven't been able to tell by now. My mom, a renowned concert pianist, she was the one who got me started on the piano at a pretty young age, right? I was 7 years old here. You can see me practicing piano on my red piano at home with my timer in the back, like a brave boy. And of course, I developed a lot over the years, right? I did classical training for so long. Then I dipped my toes into a lot of pop and jazz. And after 10 years of classical training, I found my love for the freedom, the energy, and the expression of boogie woogie and blues, and also rock and roll. And I discovered Boogie on YouTube when I stumbled upon one of those public piano videos. Maybe you've seen one of these. They go super viral, right? They get a lot of views and people love this. And I instantly fell in love as well. Back then, I always dreamt of one day being able to, just as well as those guys, just sit on one of those black train station pianos and light up the entire station, creating energy for everyone. And there was always that one black piano at this train station in my city, and I did always have to walk past it because I couldn't do what they did. This is not it, but it looks similar to this one. And I thought I could never learn the free expression of Boogie Woogie like those guys on YouTube to just sit down and start confidently playing something. If it was outside in public or at home in my own environment. But one day, imagine me walking by that same piano in the train station, but instead of walking past, I walk up to it and I sit down on it and I start confidently, easily rocking out a quick boogie. And this happened not long after I discovered how to learn Boogie Woogie efficiently. And the crowd was gathering behind me to watch and listen to my playing. Most of them were dancing, laughing, smiling. Everyone's energy was lifted. That's the power of this music. And after that, I went on with my day filled with that energy of the dozens of people having a good time through my music. I became that guy who could just sit down at a bar piano and entertain the crowd so good that the waitress there gave me an apple pie with ice cream on the house. This actually happened. This was in Austria. In Austria here after I had a gig at a big festival, and she really liked it, and she asked me to keep playing, and she kept bringing me coffees and apple pies. And now I'm able to pull in thousands of views and generate attention with my top 1% skill, because Boogie Woogie at this level is a very unique, rare skill, right? And imagine becoming that guy. Imagine becoming that guy who can turn any piano into his stage. Imagine being that guy who can, if he wants to, in contrast, spend a whole day at home alone, but still have a fantastic, energetic, optimistic, and fun day. All because of the ability to pursue your passion with absolute clarity and to feel the flow of Boogie Woogie in public or from the comfort of your own home. Because Boogie is very unique when it comes to enhancing your mental state and your mood while you play it, even while you listen. You probably know this if you listen to Boogie Woogie. And the thought of becoming that, was always super intriguing to me, to become that guy who can do that, has those abilities. Now let's get back to my story, because I then discovered a German boogie pianist who is my number one inspiration to this day, called Luca Shestak. If you don't know him, check him out. He's phenomenal. Maybe you do know him, but I completely fell in love with his style of a more of a modern boogie woogie, because he was also quite young boogie pianist. And I ended up studying all his songs and playing style day and night. I remember I used to stay up until like 2 or 3 a.m. just studying his songs, rewatching and trying to figure out what he was doing, or what made it sound so good what he was doing. And this ignited my journey to go down the boogie rabbit hole, so to speak, and soak up every bit of knowledge that exists on boogie. The problem was I barely found any. I pretty much had to learn everything through extremely time and energy intensive trial and error. And this zapped my motivation, my progress, my speed of learning, and my confidence, until I met my mentors, but more on that later. But I did not find any good boogie woogie resources online to learn. Of course, there was some YouTube tutorials and stuff, but no program that actually taught me how to play. And in this time, Boogie also helped me through tough times, like when I was really sick with Crohn's disease in my teenage years, for example. I was barely able to leave my house in that time. So all I did was practice piano. You can see me here actually how skinny I am from the Crohn's disease. So I had so much time at home to just dive into my passion of boogie and make a lot of progress in a lot of time. Um, but it wasn't quick progress. It was because I didn't really have any help. Um, but Boogie also helped me when my worst nightmare happened a few years ago, because this musical style was there for me when, my mother, the only reason I'm even able to speak about piano today, unexpectedly passed away from cancer. And in those times, I felt very, very alone. I was down. And especially then, the soulful feeling of the blues and the joyful swing of the boogie was there to help me keep my head up. It's how I expressed myself in that time. And I'm extremely grateful for that. So believe me when I say this, learning Boogie Woogie changed my life. Because without it, I don't know if I would have made it back then. And I'm only telling you this so that you understand why I'm so passionate to teach this ancient musical style to as many people as possible who share the same passion. You know, keeping the boogie, the music that saved me, alive. And that's my mission by revolutionizing Boogie Woogie piano education. Okay? Now, as a concert pianist, I have, of course, played hundreds of live shows, ranging from concerts, big festivals, award ceremonies, pubs, street festivals, weddings, and so on. You can see some of them here on a big Steinway piano in the beautiful hall. This was on Christmas time. And here I am also with Silvan Singh, for example, on Kati's annual Boogie Festival in Austria. And Silvan is one of my idols, together with Luca, Vince Weber, Axel Zwingberger. Maybe you know these names as well, if you're a bit of a Boogie fan. If not, it's not a problem. But Silvan was also one of those OG Boogie Woogie icons who helped modernize the music, together with Axel Zwingberger, Vince Weber, and more. And they did this, of course, after the big boys, the founding fathers of Boogie, like Albert Ammons, Meadlux Lewis, and Clarence Pinetop Smith, and more. You know, they invented the Boogie way, way back in the day. But here I am again in 2021 playing with Silvan and Jean-Pierre Bertrand. I hope I said his name right. He's also a pretty good pianist. And here I am again playing with some other greats. You see me here on stage at the end. Everyone's having a great time. Look at this energy. It's that's what Boogie can do. And now let's take a quick listen just to some short cuts of some gigs I've been, so you see where I've been. Now, these are just a couple recent ones, but I also played in many bands. For example, this is my first band in my first music school, and I also had a duo back in 2021. Check this one out real quick. Don't want to see the girl, I want to be the right. And why should I listen if you don't want to do the things I need from you? I give it away. Don't take it away, baby. Woo! Yeah. And this is with one of my current bands that I'm in. And before I play this moment, just so you know, it gave me happiness, confidence, and energy for the rest of the week. And this is the power of being able to play this stuff. Yeah, so as you can see, I've been around. You know, I collected a lot of experience, and we're gonna give some more of my recent boogie performances a listen in a second, so that you know, of course, how I play now in contrast. But first, take a look at how I used to play when I started with boogie 5 to 6 years ago. Yeah, it's a hot mess. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. It's nothing special or great or prodigy like it. I'm even a little embarrassed to show these to you, but I think it's important for you to understand that this can be learned pretty easily if you have the right approach. You can see I couldn't do the hand independence part, which I'm going to get to later in more detail, because hand independence is one of the hardest things to learn about piano, but especially boogie woogie. And check this out. I couldn't. So. And this is basically how it was in the beginning. I had the technicality from classical music, of course, but it didn't really help me because I didn't know what to do or how to play, or my fingers started hurting and I didn't have hand independence. I was just like throwing my keys around, my fingers on my keys. It didn't sound like boogie, and I was trying so hard. This was already 8 months in, and it was nothing special, right? And guys, I wasn't a prodigy. Okay, I wasn't even particularly good at boogie woogie, as we just saw in the beginning. And I made very slow progress because I thought that because I grew up only reading sheet music, I could never learn the free feeling of boogie. That's why I thought that I made slow progress in the beginning. I thought I could never understand the structure of boogie. I thought I'll never be as good as others who started way earlier with boogie than me. I thought I didn't have the creativity to improvise and so on. And in that moment, it was true. I didn't have those abilities. Of course, we have to learn these. But the problem was I thought I could never learn them. I thought I was the problem. Right? Because now, with all my experience, I really know why my progress in the beginning was slow, inefficient, and why I blamed myself for failing. It wasn't because I was too untalented or too old to start. And yes, even with 18 years old, I thought this. All right? You might be older than me, and you might be thinking the same. Even with 18 years old, I thought this. Because there's a lot of talented people around, but it wasn't because I was too stiff for hand independence either. It was because I struggled with those same three main factors that hinder every beginner. Like if you don't have these three factors covered while trying to learn boogie woogie, you will make slow progress. And once I overcame them, which was shortly after the last clip I just showed you, after the 8 months where I was like playing, things started to change. I started to feel confident. I started to swing, improvise, impress guests, nail the hand independence part, and learn all of my favorite songs easily. I felt extremely happy with my progress for once. I finally was the guy I had always dreamt of being on the piano. And you can achieve that as well, and I'm going to prove that to you. But first, let's take a look at my transformation, just how far I've come with boogie, my current sound, how good I am at this musical style, just for 2-3 minutes. So this is all improvised, for example. This was recently. It's also on my YouTube channel. Maybe you've even seen this. But here's a classic boogie song, Swanee River. This was the same recent gig that we saw earlier. I'm only using here what I learned from Boogie Woogie and also all improvised. So Boogie Woogie allows me to do a lot of things outside of the classical boogie environment with like the bass line in the left hand because I had a band here. And imagine doing this next time you're on a jam session or something. You feel that energy? It's amazing. That could be you soon. Just saying. Another classic here, the fives. this one a listen in 1 second. Be right back. I guess I'm back. Let's keep going. This is my own composition here. Just keep walking. Another one. Now, as you can see, the transformation is quite big. I can now grab people's attention, create big energy, and feel that boogie rhythm wherever I go. I'm a solid, very good boogie player. And as you saw, when I started, I really wasn't great. I couldn't do any of those things I just showed you. My fingers were pretty slow. I had no swing feeling. I could not improvise at all. And my hand independence especially wasn't great. And you can make that exact same transformation, going from a beginner to a pro. All right? And I'm 100% sure you will believe me and understand exactly how to make that transformation by the end of the video. Now, there's one more important story before I go into those 3 main factors that I promised to teach you today. Because besides being a performing boogie woogie artist for quite some time now, I also started my piano teaching journey very early when I was 16. I was a piano teacher for 8 years at my town's music school, Music Academy Wiesbaden, right? And this is also the music school where I got intensive musical mentoring from Milorad Marinkovic and Diaz Karimov, which are 2 outstanding musicians which became my mentors. And this was additionally to the mentoring that I got from my mother at this point, so I had 3 mentors during this time, right? And these 2 taught me a lot about what it takes to be a good teacher, mentor, and musician, which then allowed me to make the switch over to giving exclusively private lessons. And this was a step up, of course. And this was for 2 years during the COVID lockdown. So I mainly gave online piano lessons in this time, which worked surprisingly well. You can see me here on Christmas time. This with my student Marco and so on, right? And private teaching was cool because I could actually choose my students, have less of them, but give them more value and more attention. And that's when I realized the key that made all my private students make way faster and better progress than my regular students. One of the keys was they had my full attention at all times. Because a big problem that I noticed with traditional standard piano lessons are that you're literally competing for with other students for your mentor's time and attention. Because to music schools, you're often just another number. Yeah, you're not treated according to your individual musical journey and your strengths and your weaknesses. And that's not because they don't want to give that service to you, but because they can't give that service to you. Because, for example, when I was working 5 days a week at the music school, I had over 80 students at the same time. I was overworked and underpaid, right? And this is no effective way of teaching. And there are a lot of more problems that come with traditional piano lessons. For example, the lessons have a lack of flexibility. There's fixed timetables. There's no communication outside of lessons, which is a huge hindrance in making any solid progress. There's no individual attention. Most teachers follow a strict protocol that they do for every student, no individual creation of anything, right? And there's no geographical flexibility either. There's commuting issues, driving back and forth is pretty annoying. And there's outdated teaching methods. There's no specified experts. Of course, you have classical teachers and jazz teachers, but let me tell you something. And maybe you've had more luck, but when I was young, I never ever found a blues specialist, an expert for blues, or a blues and boogie, or just a boogie expert specialist who can teach me really just what boogie is about and what blues is about, not all the jazz scales, which is nice too, but it's not necessarily what everyone wants to learn. There's also limited makeup classes. If you miss a class, tough luck, right? And worst of all, conservative approach. For example, I heard so often from my students, Jonah, I love that you teach, not like the other teachers that I've had, which all forced me to go through like years of classical books before I could actually play what I wanted to play. For some of them, it was a contemporary classic that they actually wanted to play pop songs, but for a lot, they wanted to just play boogie. And you don't need the conservative teaching style of learning all the scales, all the theory, everything, which takes so long before you can play amazing boogie. And that's also part of my mission, right? To give that teaching approach to people who really want to just learn awesome sounding boogie and become that boogie pianist, because it's possible without any conservative teaching styles, right? And worst of all, 30 minutes a week, and that's it. Nobody can make consistent, fun, and fast progress with 30 minutes per week and no outside services, no course, no texting, no calling, nothing. But every teacher at my music school was overworked and underpaid, not just me, right? Because there's a huge lack of piano teachers in general, but an abundance of students. So the demand for good piano teachers is extremely high. And due to one or many of these 10 reasons, most piano students give up their normal lessons at some point in their life and regret it later on. And maybe this even happened to you. If it did, just know that it's likely not your fault. It's very rare to find a good mentor, a good system, especially exclusively for boogie. There might not even be one, because one of the most valuable resources as a student, can you guess it? Well, it's consistent individual feedback that's customized to you. No cookie cutter advice. Which is, by the way, one of the 3 factors that I'm getting into in a second. But a YouTube tutorial is never going to be able to give that to you. And a traditional overworked teacher won't be able to either. For example, by being there for my students 24/7 and working together on a close basis, I knew their difficulties at all times. And I knew which teaching methods and exercises suited the most in their specific moment to make this fast journey, this boogie journey, fast, rewarding, and fun. That's how it should be, but that is rare to find, right? And some other benefits of good private piano lessons, a lot of them here. Of course, there are still many bad private piano teachers or like protocols or programs that are just as inefficient as music schools. But just know that it has never been your abilities as to why you can't play boogie how you'd like to yet. It's because how we learn music is highly individual, which makes finding music education that works for you very, very rare. Okay? And due to this, you're probably blaming yourself for not being where you want to be, or not even having started. You might think that it's too late for you to even start learning boogie piano, that you're too old. You might think you can only get to this level if you had started your journey very, very young. This is one of the most common beliefs that people have, which leads them to never start. You might think that you don't have the time, the coordination, or the confidence that you'll become a boogie woogie pro. Right? And you're not alone in having these beliefs. Like I said, every single student I've worked with had some form of these beliefs. Even I've had them, as we just found out. And this is, again, like all the things that I've heard in the past, like fingers are too slow, I have no musicality, I have no talent, I'm too old, I don't have time to practice regularly, I can't achieve music, I don't have a natural sense of rhythm, I wasn't musically gifted as a child, I don't have enough patience to learn, I'm afraid of performing in front of others, I'm not good with technology, online lessons. I heard these things every single day from my students when I was private teaching, also when I was in the music school. But it's no wonder that humans think this, especially with music and learning a skill as potentially complex as a piano. But let me explain why you actually think these things. And I need you to pay close attention to this, because this might really help you out. All right. The reason why people fail, and you're not the problem. Let's take Robert, for example. Robert tries to learn Boogie Woogie with a YouTube tutorial, and he fails due to external reasons. In this case, it was because he had no mentor. He had no feedback. He had just had a video, no feedback from a mentor, which created the limiting belief in Robert that he thinks he failed because he's too old or he's not talented enough. Any belief we just covered, right? Which is false. And then Robert tries again, this time with a teacher, but he fails again due to a different external reason, because there's a bunch. Like, for example, a bad teacher in a bad music school, which leads students to fail, which repeats the cycle of the belief, I really am just too old. But where's the fourth step? What's missing here? The reality is missing. The external reason kept Robert from achieving his goal, like having no feedback, like no teacher, no mentor at all, trying it all alone, or a bad mentor, a bad teacher, right, in a bad system that doesn't work for Robert, right? The actual reason, the reality, was that Robert failed due to external reasons, meaning he didn't have solutions to overcome the three main factors that keep everyone from progressing fast and quickly and with fun and motivation. It never had anything to do with his age, his talent, or his sense of rhythm. And in this case, let's think about why you might fail learning Boogie if you tried or have tried in the past. Your failure could be due to the external reason. One, no opportunity for feedback. This problem might appear while trying to learn Boogie piano from a YouTube tutorial, which makes you think, I'm just too old to start, because you can't learn from the YouTube tutorial. But the reality is you just need consistent feedback from a teacher who is where you want to be. It's a big stone of learning music in general. You need a mentor, of course. Secondly, it could have also been due to external reasons too. A bad teacher in a bad music school with a bad system, where the teaching methods didn't work for you. You have some bad experience, making you think you're just not talented enough for it and giving it up or never starting at all. And you just need a good system, a roadmap to follow that's individually created for you. No cookie cutter, something that's fun for you to work on. And we can repeat this with every false belief you have, by the way. These are just 5 of them. 6 of them, actually. Like, I'm too old to learn Boogie. No, you just need a consistent and individual help through a mentor who gives you feedback. Right? That's the reality. Limiting belief number 2. I don't have the coordination for this. The reality is you just need the right exercises which work for your current skill level, because a lot of people get overwhelmed when trying to learn Boogie because they start with the wrong, too difficult exercises, or the ones which they shouldn't even focus on at this point, because they try to just go on YouTube and learn. Thirdly, this is something I genuinely thought this. I'm too dumb to figure out what to do, so I might as well not even do it. But I just needed, and I got this once I met my mentors, I just needed a clear roadmap to follow, right? Fourth, I'll make slow progress. It would take me years. Just not true. The reality is you need to know which things to prioritize during your practice so you make fast progress and you don't waste time. Wasting time on the piano is so easy if you don't have knowledge about what to even do and how to do it and how to prioritize what you're practicing. Fifth, it's too stressful. I'm not made for piano lessons. I'll give them up anyway. It's not true, because if you have enjoyable, fun lessons to keep you staying motivated and keep progressing, your worst nightmare would be to give them up, because it's something you're passionate about. It's something that's fun. It's just the environment that made you believe this. Sixth, you don't have the time. It's also something I hear so much, but it's just not true. Because at the end of the day, if you know what to focus on, if you know what to prioritize, if you have exactly what to do each day, 15 to 30 minutes a day is more than enough, right? And of course, these limiting beliefs can occur through many external reasons throughout your lifetime, not just the ones that we just covered. These were just 6 of them. But all of these make you believe that you suck when it was really just your environmental circumstances. So every belief that you think is keeping you from becoming a boogie woogie rock star is wrong. Okay? You know this now. We just went over them. And I personally once spent almost every evening on YouTube, glued to my screen, watching boogie piano videos. And I would have never thought that I'd be able to learn it someday. I genuinely thought, even though I had some classical training, a lot of it actually, but I thought I had similar false beliefs. You remember what mine was? I told you earlier, right? You remember what mine was? Mine was, I'll never be able to learn boogie woogie improvisation because I can only read sheet music. Now I improvise every single day. No sheet music required. All right. And another one of mine was, I have classical training, so I just don't have that swing feeling that I need for boogie. Well, you can learn that, right? Check this out. I didn't learn this alone. I learned this with the three factors being taken care of for me by my mentors. And again, I was 100% convinced, like you, that I could never learn pro level boogie due to that untrue belief. Only with the help from my two mentors, I learned it was just their external circumstances holding me back, not me. And they destroyed my limiting beliefs by giving me exactly the three things that everyone needs to easily learn boogie woogie, leading to positive reinforcement and stopping that negative cycle. And that's when I made incredible progress, right? It was just that simple. I just needed the help. So if even a concert pianist with 10 years experience had limiting beliefs, keeping him from reaching his potential, you can be assured that whatever you're thinking as to why you can't learn pro level boogie is wrong. And you only need help with those three things that everyone needs. And imagine where you'd be right now if you just started 6 months ago with that knowledge. You had the same false belief back then that it's too late now or that you don't have the time for it. But let me tell you something. Time passes regardless. It's the only asset in life that you will never ever get back. And you'd be at an incredible level of boogie woogie by now if you started 6 months or even 3 months ago, just by focusing on conquering the three factors. You could literally be impressing your loved ones on the piano right now if you had the knowledge and opportunity a few months ago and acted on it. And let me tell you something, it's truly amazing, the feeling of impressing other people with boogie woogie. You know how rare it is for anyone to play piano, yet alone boogie at a pro level? Less than 1%, maybe even less than 1%, have this unique skill. I said the same thing twice, but you could get to this point in only a few weeks from today. All right? Most people won't. Not because they can't, but because they let their limiting beliefs dictate their lives and they never realize their potential. You could be getting that look from your partner every night, right? But most people won't ever get that look for their entire life until it's too late. The look of admiration through being able to play an instrument and such a passionate, expressive style like boogie woogie. You could greet your guests like this. Check this out. Imagine the fun you would have with your guests if you can do this with them, right? If they come over or your friends. And imagine also the greatly positive influence you'd have over your children or siblings by learning boogie, like your family in general, right? Making them also want to learn an instrument, which is beautiful. And learning boogie woogie now will allow you and your loved ones to benefit from it every day for the rest of your life. Think about it like that. Doing something now, you're delaying the gratification, right? For in 6 months or a year, you're going to just have a better life through that. And that's a big future reason as to why I push myself to keep getting better too, for my future kids. That's for sure. Right? And let me ask you something. Have you ever listened to a boogie song and you felt that heavenly energy just zap through your body and you wanted to like move and dance? Well, now 10x that energy and imagine being able to create it on command. Because playing amazing boogie is even better than listening to it. Trust me on that. It's such an addictive and fun feeling when you're on the piano and you're playing and you get into that happy, energetic flow state of boogie woogie. Like imagine if you could start your days with a quick boogie while it's having your morning coffee, giving you good energy and a good mood for the entire day. Hell, I don't even have to imagine it. I do it every day now. Adding a boogie to your morning coffee was one of the best decisions I've ever done. It's really the best daily ritual, guys. I can really recommend it. Gives you energy and a good mood for the entire day. But this doesn't work if you can't if you're not happy with your progress either, because then you're just gonna try this and be like, "Ah, I could be better. I'm not reaching my full potential," and that might even depress you for the day, right? Now, some other cool things Boogie will give you. The confidence of following your passion and being the best at something as cool as Boogie Woogie. That's pretty sick. The happiness from making daily progress in something you love. The admiration that you get of being able to entertain friends, family, and even strangers. That youthful, energetic power that you can only get from Boogie Woogie. You know what power I'm talking about. And the stress relief and mood boost through a musical outlet. Of course, ultimately, having the skill to play Boogie Woogie is life-changing. And if you want that life-changing result for yourself, you're not alone. That's exactly what I wanted when I started. I was just like you, because as we know now, you and me, we're very similar. We both have had false, limiting beliefs, and we both have had the same ambitious goal of becoming that boogie woogie rock star, mastering this timeless music, or just making progress, getting to the level that we want to be at. Right? That's individual for you. And one of the coolest things about learning boogie, it's genuinely 100% easy for beginners to learn because of the simple and replicable structure that boogie and blues always use. And that structure is 100% easily learned as long as you have a solution for the three main factors that stop you from even starting. And by the way, if you paid attention, you'd already know one of the three factors, but I want to make it a little exciting, so that's why I'm prolonging this a little. But before we go into these three factors entirely, I have to be completely transparent with you. Not everyone can learn Boogie Woogie Piano. All right. And I can only speak for my previous students here, but learning Boogie Woogie quickly will not work for you if you're not extremely committed to your goal of learning Boogie Woogie Piano. You're not prepared to work with me and actually take action, and you're not hungry to go from beginner to high class to pro level Boogie Woogie. And this can mean whatever it means for you, but you need to be motivated. Now, learning Boogie Woogie will 100% work for you if you have zero experience playing piano. You maybe have some experience in piano, but you've unlearned most of it. Maybe you played as a child. Maybe you currently have some experience in piano or even in boogie. You want to take it to the next level. You might have classical training, or you play a different instrument. You want to make the switch, right? Most importantly, though, you're committed about becoming that person on the piano that you've always dreamt of becoming. So let me ask you this. Are you committed to your goal of becoming a boogie woogie rock star? If yes, let's get to the meat and potatoes. So as we already covered, it's not too late to start. It's not your talent and it's not your skill keeping you from learning pro level boogie. Remember, this is what all of my students and every beginner thinks at the start, me included. But as we now know, these are never the problem, even if you think they are. Well, then what is it? As mentioned, learning pro level boogie has the possibility to be extremely fun, easy, and quick. And the three things that keep students from experiencing that quick, easy, and fun journey are lacking clarity, lacking feedback, and hand independence. These are the three things, and let me go over these one by one really quick. Pay close attention to this, because if you remember these things for the rest of your life, you're going to always be a faster learner and a better player. All right. Firstly, lacking clarity. Lacking clarity. This is the number one thing that will keep some people from ever realizing their musical passion for their whole life. Imagine that. Imagine laying on your deathbed someday, realizing you never made those memories with Boogie Woogie how you wanted to and had the potential to, just because you never found a way to overcome the first step, blocking your entire journey. And having clarity means you need to have a crystal clear direction on what to do and how to do it every single day, every single practice session, tailored to your current skill level, right? And you also need a way to have any questions that you have at all times answered fast, not just week by week, but every day, basically. And that's how you make fast, fun, and efficient progress If you don't have that, you're going to make slow, inefficient, and demotivating progress, ultimately wasting time on the wrong things without even realizing because you have no clarity on what to do and how to do it. Secondly, lacking feedback. This is the most valuable resource as a student, right? And you could maybe get some good advice from tutorials on YouTube if you're lucky, but you wouldn't be able to get the feedback from them telling you how to implement said advice and how to progress. And I wish I had this when I started learning Boogie, let me tell you, because having reliable, consistent, and individual feedback for Boogie Woogie can shorten your transformation from beginner to pro by years. And I found this out once I had my feedback from my mentors, right? But before that, I didn't even know that this was important, because with feedback, you're basically taking the shortcut by profiting from someone else's expertise that took years of hard work to build. And all those years it took them, you're going to be saving in a sense. Thirdly, hand independence, the biggest killer of progression and fun while learning Boogie Piano. In all of my teaching years, hand independence was the biggest killer of students' piano dreams that I consistently saw. And it's so sad because it really has the potential to be a huge frustration and time sink in mastering Boogie Woogie, keeping you from ever having that impressive freedom on the keys. And struggling with hand independence is often the biggest reason for people's limiting beliefs, which has them either giving up their practice or never even starting at all. And without conquering this step, you run in the risk of never, forming those wholesome memories where you're playing boogie so good on like a party, impressing your group of friends or your family and playing for your loved ones, or just feeding that energetic flow like we talked about, that one morning after a quick improvisation on the piano, before you head out to work or whatever you're doing that day, right? To just boost your brain and chemicals and mood, everything. Right? And the difficulty of this challenge alone often leads also to many failed attempts when students, maybe you tried in the past to learn, but you failed. And this leads to negative reinforcement, creating limiting beliefs, when the reality is you just haven't found the solution for this challenge. Now, of course, that all these three factors can be easily overcome. I did it, you can do it. But they must be overcome with a clear and specific roadmap, with valuable, consistent, and customized feedback from a qualified mentor, and with consistent progress that easily develops you into the person you always dreamt of being on the piano. This is going to be you once you have these three things. Maybe you have them covered at some point in the future. And of course, I give all of that to my students in my school, of course. It's called Boogie Woogie Mastery. And I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'll showcase this to you. Of course I will. And I'm going to explain to you how this will revolutionize Boogie Woogie Piano education. All right. It's the only program of its kind that focuses on all things Boogie Woogie. It's how I help my students transform their lives by reaching all their Boogie Woogie Piano goals in a short amount of time and becoming the person on the piano that they individually want to be. Because after 15 years as a full-time musician and 10 plus years of teaching experience, I combined all of my knowledge and developed the ultimate all-in-one program to go from Boogie Beginner to Boogie Woogie Pro, enabling you to reach all of your goals. And if you want to find out now if you can be one of the 3 students that I can work closely with and help with achieving their new dream Boogie Woogie Piano skills, you're going to love this next part, because this is where the present that I promised comes in. Remember that present that I promised you at the beginning of the presentation that you would get if you stayed until the end, right? Because your next step to Boogie Woogie Mastery is basically a free one-on-one discovery call with me, where I'm going to help you overcome anything that you're struggling with right now concerning Boogie Woogie Piano. And we're going to get to know each other in this call and find out where you actually stand and what your piano goals are, because of course this is all highly individual. And I will assess your potential in the call as well to learn Boogie Woogie. And you can ask me any questions about Boogie Woogie Mastery, like what we just talked about, the Boogie Woogie school that I'm creating here, or have created. And by the end, you're going to be a lot fitter in your boogie knowledge, and will also know if we're a good fit to work together or not. So potentially after this call, we can get started with Boogie Woogie Mastery if we're a good fit. Right? So your next step is to just click this link here, and you're going to find this link right under the video that you're watching right now. Just scroll down, click the link and book a call that suits you best. All right, it's going to look like this. You can choose a date and time for your free call once you're on the link, and just fill in these 3 questions to help me prepare for you. It's 3 questions. You can read them on the page. And also, please make sure that you choose a time and date where you're in a quiet place for the call and you can give it your full attention and focus for at least 45 minutes, right? Because this way you can get the most amount of value out of this call, because that's what I want to give you. Of course, we also have to see if we're a good fit for the program, but I also want to give you a lot of value as a quick thank you for watching until the end. And that's my present, and it's going to be a Google Meet meeting, and the button for the meeting will be sent to you by email right after you book it. It's going to look like that, and just keep that. What was a call I had tomorrow, actually, so 22nd today, and just keep that button handy, right? Because when it's time for our meeting, then you just got to click on this, and then you're going to join instantly through your browser, and then we can see each other and we can start the call, right? So congratulations, you're another step closer to becoming the person you always dreamt of being on the piano. If you booked that call already, I'm assuming you did, because otherwise you wouldn't still be here. I think, because you're already in the top 1% of students having even watched this presentation until the end. Because most people don't even have the attention span for that nowadays anymore. And you've decided to educate yourself and find a solution to your problems, and because of that, you definitely have huge potential to achieve all of your piano goals. Now I have 2 more questions for you. First of all, ask yourself how much is completely covering this big, passionate aspect of your life once and for all worth to you? How much is for the rest of your life being the life of every party, uplifting yours and others' energy and mood with the snap of a finger, and having a top 1% skill in playing any song that you've ever dreamt of playing worth to you? And secondly, really ask yourself, what's the alternative to this, what I'm offering you? Having no clarity, having no feedback, having slow progress, wasted time, no self-confidence, no personalized learning, low energy, overwhelmed, inconsistent practice, more limiting beliefs being created, the inability to impress others, a lack of accountability, frustration, never learning to improvise, boredom, so on. So, I highly doubt that you're the type of person to pass up this opportunity to find out if we might even be a good fit to work together in a free call and leave your dreams and aspirations for just someday. Right? And I doubt you'd be the type of person to want to waste your potential, your time, and your energy. Because wasting your potential in slow, ineffective, traditional piano lessons, torturing yourself trying to learn from completely ineffective YouTube tutorials, and never reaching your goal of mastering Boogie Woogie at all, might have you regret your decision once it's really too late. And this is a Wikipedia article, the top 5 regrets of the dying. And this blows my mind every time, because the number 1 regret, guys, it's I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. And I think this is such a good representation of the importance of your passion goals, not your materialistic goals, your passion goals. Because becoming the person who mastered Boogie Woogie Piano is not necessarily about money, material possessions, or fame. It can give you that, but this is more about a goal that comes from your lifelong passion. It's about expressing your authentic self, and we all deserve to do that. We don't have so many passion goals in our lives, actually, but the ones that we do have, they never go away. You're always gonna have this desire. So I'd hate to see you regret not reaching your passion goal within your lifetime. So if you're ready to become that person on the piano you always dreamt of being, just click that link under the video, book your free discovery call. It's going to be a quick, nice, fun call where we get to know each other, and I'll help you with your boogie woogie. You could even be on the piano when you book the call. It's up to you. I'll show you stuff to help you overcome some problem you have, learn something specific like a bass line or a song. And of course, we're also going to go a lot into what your goals are with Boogie, where you're currently standing, and if we might be a good fit to work together in Boogie Woogie Mastery, right? And again, only 3 students by now, for now, so I don't know how fast it fills up, but if you're seeing this video, I probably still have 1 or 2 spots free. So just book that call, and thank you so much for watching until the end as well. And for that, I have another present for you because you stayed until the very end. When we have our call that you already booked, or maybe you're booking it now, just mention the sentence "Boogie Woogie Power" to me at the start of the call, and I'll make you another present as a thank you for being a real one and giving me your time until the very end, because I do appreciate it. And my goal with this was to help you out and hopefully help you understand that it's not your fault that you can't play boogie woogie how you want to yet, and hopefully help you with your mindset about those beliefs about yourself a little bit, and also show you what it actually needs, the 3 factors to learn boogie woogie fast, quickly, and with fun. And then, of course, to present you the boogie woogie mastery, which I'm so proud of. And you watching until the end here, with all the distractions that exist nowadays, wanting our attention, means a lot. But it also shows me that you really do have the potential to become great and maybe become one of my students. So book that call right now. I would love to talk to you. Look forward to seeing you. And yeah, keep rocking, boogieing on. I'll see you in the call. Take care.